Hey guys, what is this boat? This isn't a TFL Rocket. At the end of the video, I'll show you guys this, another little project I've got. It's pretty cool, older OG RC boat here that they don't make anymore, but sure does look neat. All right, here's the Rocket. I just figured I'd give you all a quick rundown of what I've done to this thing to run it on 6S. There's a couple videos on YouTube of guys running this with the stock motor, a 2958, 2881 kV motor on 6S, which is pretty crazy. That's a lot of RPM for 6S, but it works and it looks good in their videos. I just went kind of a different route with this, but we'll start here with the outside. All right, so just starting at the back of the boat. I didn't really do much back here, just kind of adjust the trim tabs, turn fins. I did remove a screw off of the strut just to make it easier for me, when I'm adjusting it and trying to get this thing set up. You don't have to mess with, two screws in there. I did put a little piece of heat shrink down there from the strut to where the stuffing tube sticks out, but you don't really need to do that. I have put a bigger grommet in because I used a different cooling line. I just wanted to use orange, thought it was cool. And the line ended up being a little bit bigger than the stock line and stock grommet, so I just changed that out. I did put a hatch lift nut on it just to kind of help me get the thing on and off when I'm putting batteries in it. I don't know if you guys saw the maiden video of this, but I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. But long story short, it crashed, the hatch came off, it almost sunk. Thankfully I was able to swim out and get it. Oh God, the lid came off.
Hope you have a change of clothes.
But I originally thought this nut, had created enough drag when this boat flipped upside down, during a crash to rip, the hatch off. And I'm not sure if that was the case or not. I almost think it just hit another little wave when it was upside down at the front, and that was enough to kind of knock the hatch off. But that was a bummer there. And then, this is a 40 millimeter 1.6 detongued prop. I just threw on to try it, for the maiden, no particular reason. And one more thing I think I'm going to do to the outside is to keep this hatch, try and prevent this thing from flying off again at high speeds, if it crashes, is put a couple hatch locks on. These are from Offshore Electrics. I actually got these for another boat I've got coming in, but I think I'm going to do two on the back, so I'll put one there, and it's nice that, it's got kind of an extra thicker kind of lip there, for a hatch lock, so that'll be easy to put in. And then up front, what I'll do is probably put a screw in the center of the hatch and then drill a hole up there in the center, and so that can kind of slide in. I'll switch scenes here and show you. I did it to another boat, kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right, got the good old Joysway Blue Mania, aka Miss Geico. Just to show you what I'm talking about. You guys probably already know, but I drilled a hole into the hull up here in the center for the hatch, and I added that screw right there to the hatch, right? And it just slides right in. Screw goes into the hole, and it'll keep the front part from popping up, So I think, for the Rocket, you have that screw in there, and then you have a hatch lock, one here, one there. That should be plenty to keep this thing from the hatch from flying off, And again, if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it in the description for this video. All right, got the hatch off. Here's the inside of the boat. Guess we'll start at the back with the servo. We got the $17 Amazon special servo right here. I see a lot of people use this thing. It's a metal geared waterproof servo, pretty standard. For the money, it is pretty good. It's waterproof. The 4 screws on the back have little O-ring gaskets to keep water from coming in. The servo horn gear has an O-ring inside of there to keep water from coming in. And I could be wrong, but I want to say there's a gasket in between the metal part and the plastic part as well. But I could be wrong, but it's, it's a pretty good cheap servo you can get, Amazon Prime. I did have to Dremel out some of the area where it mounts, into this rail system to get the ears of the servo to fit. I don't think it's like this for all servos, but for this one, I just had to Dremel out a little bit. And I know this servo, there's a guy on YouTube who tested this against this other 20 kg servo, and this ended up being the clear winner. This was more of a 20 kilogram servo, and that ended up being the more like a 12 kilogram servo. But for the money, you know, 17 bucks shipped. This was about 25. So, you know, if you want the next step up, you can go with this one here. These are pretty good. And then, like always, I got my receiver in a balloon because I'm too cheap to spend 25 bucks on a can of Corrosion X. Little Velcro strap, you know, nothing crazy going on there. I did put a different Teflon liner in than the stock one, simply because I could make it longer and I could fit it kind of back in the strut a little better. Just with the way I have things set up, the stock liner was short, you know, and there was kind of a gap in there that I didn't like. But really, I don't know if it makes a difference or if it's a big deal. But I did do a one-piece flex shaft, 4mm, instead of the two-piece shaft that comes with this thing, which I'll show you a comparison here also. All right, so here's a one-piece 4mm flex shaft, literally one piece. The flex shaft part, you know, goes right into the hardened prop shaft, which makes it a lot easier to take in and out of the boat and grease up. And I'll show you why compared to the stock two-piece shaft that I think come in a lot of the, if not all, the TFL boats. But you know, there's your flex shaft, there's your prop shaft. The end of the flex shaft is squared off, right? So it can fit in this prop shaft. See that? And what makes it a pain is that this prop shaft, you know, in your strut, I'm gonna switch scenes here real quick. All right, so I've got the hardened end of the prop shaft into the strut, right? You know, it fits in there, you know, it's good. Just gonna push it in, right? Put your prop on the end. The problem with this is that once this prop shaft is in that strut, it's locked in. You cannot pull it out this way, you know, to slide your whole drive line out to grease it up and put it back in. That's locked in there, which means you need to take these two screws off every time you want to pull your shaft out to grease it up, you know, and it's just a pain. This, you know, with this in there, this goes right in that strut, just like that does. Sits in there, and you know, when you want to pull this out to grease it, you just, you know, you loosen your coupler end up front, pull this out, and you know, grease it up, push it back in. You know, this, you know, and you can lose your strut adjustment. You know, it's just kind of a pain. But one benefit, I guess you could say, to this is that if your shaft snaps or if it comes loose, you know, it comes out of the coupler there, you're not going to lose it. It's going to stay in that strut, you know, is where, you know, this might snap. It could, you got nothing holding it in. It could totally, you know, slide out and you lose it. But, you know, I think this is the way to go. This is just makes it so much easier just to slide it out, grease it up, push it back, you're done. You know, as opposed to taking these two screws out, sliding this whole, you know, strut out, greasing it up, putting it back, trying to find your configuration again. You know what I mean? So that's that. And I've got a 120 amp flycolor ESC with a Offshore Electrics $5 cap bank. I was going to do a 150 amp. I know the other video I said I was going to put a flycolor 150 in here, and you know, with a nice big cap pack and some XT 150 connectors. But I ended up, I pulled this out of my Aero, and just to upgrade the connectors on it, and just I ended up putting it in here just to try them out. These are XT 150s on the motor leads as well, going into the ESC. I was using 4mm bullets. You know, these are 6, a little bigger. I don't know if they make a difference. You know, and same for the battery lead, XT 150s. I think a XT 90 connector is 4mm, so, you know, they're a little bigger. And then I made some harnesses. You know, I got the series harness, and then you know, for a single XT60. My smaller 3S and 6S packs are XT60, but later on I'll make the same kind of harness, you know, just with XT90 ends on them. And the motor that's in here is an MSQ 2972 2200 kV motor. That's all this motor mount can fit, is a 28 or 29mm motor. You can't put a 36mm motor in there. And I'll show you, if you buy this and you think you can by just switching out that motor mount, it won't fit. The rails are too skinny for it. You know, I'll switch scenes here. So basically, you know, this orange motor mount here is for a 28 or 29mm motor. It has 19 millimeter mounting hole spaces, so you can't fit a 36 or 40 millimeter motor, which has 25 millimeter spacing. So here's the mount, same as that one. This is just made for a 36 or 40 millimeter motor. It's got the from end to end, 25 millimeter spacing. So, you can't, there's just not enough room. It's too big. You can't fit it in there. So that's kind of a bummer. But that's the reason I just went out and tried to find the biggest 29, longest 29 millimeter motor I could at 2200 kV, for 6S. And the speed is there. It's good. I just got to kind of fine tune this thing, to get it to run its best there. And that little dual lock tape there is for my GPS that actually flew out of the boat when it crashed and the hatch came off. So I'll have to get another one of those. Kind of a bummer there. And then I just have a battery strap. This has the sticky rubberized stuff on it. I usually use the cheap Velcro straps off of Amazon because I put these are for like drone batteries. They're just sticky rubber pads that 3M makes. And they really keep your batteries in place. So you don't really need a battery that's got the rubber on there. That will definitely help, but I just like the cheap Velcro straps from Amazon because you can cut them to size and you don't have all this overhang to worry about. But that's it, guys. Just a quick rundown of what I've got here. Hopefully I'll get this thing back out on the water here soon and get it kind of tuned right and get the GPS back in and see if we can get 65, 70 miles an hour out of it. All right, guys, here it is. This is the OG original ready to run fast electric boat from back in the day. I haven't had this thing out on the water yet, but it's an Aquacraft Super V27. And of course, Aquacraft is no longer around, so this boat is no longer made, but it's pretty cool. It looks nice. I just like the look of this thing. There's the bag, there's the hardware on it. I got this thing from a really nice guy on Facebook. Kind of hooked me up. There's the inside. This is kind of cool. Something different than having the batteries in the center up front, I'm curious to see how it'll run with a pack on each side, so this is just something else, something new to try. But what I'm thinking is, not that motor in there. I don't know why I put that in there, but this is kind of a cool motor. This is something a little different, a 4068 2650 kV motor here. It's a fat, kind of shorter, torquey motor, probably be good for 4S. I'm curious, a little bit of higher kV to see how that runs. I got the water cooling jacket for it. And then as far as the electronics go, I'm thinking that's a Sea King 180. I didn't buy this specifically for this build, but just the way the water kind of comes in, you can kind of benefit from that single cooling tube. Otherwise I'd be using a flycolor, but just having it loop around, and come back with the two tubes on the flycolor just kind of make it difficult, a little more cleaner. It comes in, boom, hits your motor, and then comes out. So I'll probably, use that. And then I don't have it here, but I have a servo mount to put in right there for the steering. And that should do it. I'd put the GPS receiver up there, run a 5,000 milliamp or a 4,000 milliamp 2S, in series for 4S. And that should do it. Pretty cool. That's what I'm thinking for this one, but just a quick, rundown for you guys. Alrighty, thanks for watching.